Hello and welcome to Lynchburg Live. I'm your host, Linda Smith. As the economy has worsened, more and more people have turned to helping organizations like Lynchburg Daily Bread for assistance in getting through really rough times. My guests tonight are Tracey Dixon, Executive Director, and Lara Jesser, Volunteer Services Coordinator for Lynchburg Daily Bread. Tracey, Lara, I'm so glad to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you.
You know, as we get started, and either one of you can answer these questions as we go along, can you tell us just exactly what Lynchburg Daily Bread is?
Sure.
And where you're located?
We serve a free hot meal 7 days a week from our location in downtown Lynchburg. We're at the corner of 8th and Clay. The common vernacular is soup kitchen, but we're thankfully, because of the community, we're much more than a soup kitchen. We every day are able to provide a hot meal that includes a meat, a vegetable, a salad, dessert, and bread.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So we're very lucky that Lynchburg is as generous as it is that we can do that. Yeah.
All right. Can you tell us what your job as director involves?
Sure. Director is kind of a catch-all for a little bit of everything. I'm just as likely to be working on fundraising as I am to be running out to Sam's Club to purchase some fill-in needs. So it's a little bit of everything. Supervision of staff, of course, but I've also been able to develop some great relationships with the guests. So I get to talk with our guests.
That's wonderful.
Just a little bit of everything, truly.
Now, you refer to the people who come in to have a meal as your guest.
Yes.
I think that's wonderful. It takes away any stigma that they may feel.
We very much work to make it as close to a restaurant as possible. So our guests are seated, and then our volunteers will serve the meal, let them have a choice of drinks, and then as many refills as they'd like. And what is one of my favorite things about Daily Bread is there's no paperwork, no requirements.
That's great.
Whoever comes to our door, come on in and eat as much as you like, and we'll wish you well as you're heading out. And that's, for a lot of our folks who don't have much, that might be the only real kindness they get in a day, and so it's pretty special.
I think it's pretty special, too, that you preserve dignity.
Absolutely.
I mean, because,
yes.
you know, these people are feeling kind of low anyway.
Sure.
And then to feel like they're second-class citizens is bad. I'm glad to hear that you do that.
Absolutely.
How long have you been the director?
I've been the director for 9 months.
Oh, cool.
So I think I'm over my orientation. I started there in September 2011 after about 9 years with Family Alliance.
Oh, well, you have a good background in helping services.
I enjoy it. I've been very lucky.
Now, Lara, what's involved with your job as volunteer coordinator?
Well, volunteer coordinator, if groups or individuals are interested in volunteering, and you can certainly give us a call or find us on the web at lynchburgdailybread.com. If you're interested in serving the homeless and hungry of Lynchburg, we will be happy to let you come down and prepare lunch and serve and help us clean up afterward and get started for the next day.
Are you the person who sort of finds out if this person is better at cooking and this person's better at serving and this person washes dishes best?
Well, we also have court-ordered community service and Christian community service for various Christian schools that are in the area. Usually those folks are a little bit more predisposed to washing dishes than some of the harder jobs. But if you're really into cooking or if you just want to serve, I try to respect that and get the volunteer in the right place so they enjoy their time there as much as possible.
That's wonderful. All right. How long has Daily Bread been serving the Lynchburg area? I know it's been around a while.
We started in 1982. We were actually founded by First Presbyterian Church of Lynchburg.
Right.
And we started at Nichols Tavern, which is on Fifth Street, is fairly well known. Fifth and Madison it is. And we actually for a little while were in shared space with Salvation Army and then moved to our permanent home in 1989. It's an old Knights of Columbus building, and the Grief Corporation did a matching and very generous gift to us that allowed us to own the building outright, which is really just wonderful. Yeah.
You know, I found in Lynchburg in doing this show that people and other organizations do come forward to help out helping organizations, and I think that that's certainly to the credit of the businesses and individuals who are in Lynchburg that they do that. Now, what geographical areas do you all serve?
Well, the majority of our guests are from Lynchburg and mostly the downtown area. We do have guests who walk every day from as far away as Ford Avenue and will just walk on down to us. We do have some guests who ride the bus as well to get the meal. The ones that just really touch my heart, or sometimes we have a family of 6 who has walked a mile or 2 to come to us and get a meal. And so we every now and then we get toy donations and things like that. And we'll try to give those little extras to the kids because they, I think the children understand more than they might show of sort of what's going on.
I was thinking that it's so wonderful that there's something at the end of that mile they walk.
Absolutely.
It's for them. You know, on a daily average, how many people would you say you serve?
Well, between about 60 and 230 on any given day. The food stamps and public assistance roll over at the beginning of every month. So the beginning of the month, we have maybe about 60 to 80 people. The end of the month, I think on Monday, we serve 233 people.
That's a lot of people.
In one day.
What hours are you open?
Our office hours are 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and we serve lunch every day from 10:50 to 12:20, which is kind of unusual. And if anyone's watching who knows the origins of that, I would love to find out why they picked that 90 minutes. I don't know. And I've been looking through some old board minutes and things to try and figure that out. But it works, and far be it from me to change that. So 10:50 to 12:20 every day.
What's your capacity?
Well, we're very limited by space, and we have 4 tables of 8, so we can serve 32 at a time. Over the course of a year, if you look at a full 12 months, in 2011, we served an average of 162 people every day. And so if you sort of do the math on that, you can see that there's going to be lots of folks standing outside waiting. Right. And what we've been doing this week with the heat, we also did it in the winter with the cold. As soon as we've got the hot lunch ready, we open the doors. Great. So we've been open in 10:20, 10:30 to go ahead and get folks started and get them fed. Our front door is sort of facing full sun, so we might have as many as 100 people lined up just baking in the sun.
Maybe that's why the hours are set like they're set, to accommodate overflow, you know, maybe sort of like a relay, getting people in, getting people out, like in any restaurant.
Absolutely. And it's still lunch, you know, because you're close to 11 o'clock. Right. And by going until 12:20, we do have some working folks who will just zip in right at 12:05 and get a quick lunch. And, you know, if they can save that $5 that they would have spent on lunch and spend it with their family, you know, all the better.
You know, the economy has been so uncertain. How has this current economy affected Lynchburg Daily Bread and the people it serves?
The need has been increasing. We actually served 5,000 more meals from 2010 to 2011. So that's a huge increase.
And it really is.
What we've seen over the last couple months is actually the increase is increasing. I'm real interested to see what our numbers are for 2012. But in the last month, we've had a couple days where we're serving well past 12:20 just because of the volume of folks. But we want everybody to have as much as they want. So,
have you noticed a difference in the socioeconomic groups that are coming in, or has it stayed pretty much the same?
We're seeing an increase in families. A lot more people with small children. There's sort of generally, we've done a couple of population surveys and things, and 30 to 40% of our guests are homeless. About 30% are elderly. About 20% families on any given day, but every now and then we'll have a day with 30 to 40 children come in. The next sort of largest group is the mentally challenged, and then the working poor make up a small portion of our guests.
Are the mentally challenged the ones that are in halfway houses and that kind of thing, or?
Some of them are in residential programs and some are not. We have a great relationship with community service to sort of help keep tabs on some of the folks we worry about. But some of them are legal independent adults who choose to be homeless, and then we just look out for them.
You just take care of them.
Yeah.
All right. In researching the show, I learned that last year, 2011, you all served an astronomical number of people. Is that the largest year to date that you know of?
It is. We served 57,106 meals in 2011. And we have several volunteers who have been there for years, more than a decade, literally. And we've had some good laughs because it used to be quite a big deal when we broke 100 to serve. Well, now we break 100 at least 75% of the month. So times have definitely changed, and unfortunately there's more people in need.
I read that Thanksgiving Day last year was also a record breaker.
Our biggest day ever was Thanksgiving Day 2011. We had 275 people. And it was really pretty amazing. We had prepared about a dozen turkeys because turkeys take time, and so you just sort of make your best guess. And normally the holidays are slower. On Christmas it was around 100. So we were kind of expecting a light crowd, and a dozen turkeys should have been more than sufficient. Well, about 10:30 we were thinking, boy, that's quite a line out there. And it kept growing and growing. It went down the street and around the corner. And, it got where we were, really sort of being careful with our turkey. We wanted everyone to have plenty of turkey, but we also knew by the math. And a church had a luncheon. And that's another thing a mystery I'd love for your viewers to solve. We don't know who this church was because the food came in the middle of sort of the busy time. But some church brought 3 huge trays of heated and cut turkey that they were going to serve at their luncheon and didn't need. And just like that, Daily Bread had all the turkey we needed for Thanksgiving, and everybody got turkey that day.
God provides.
He sure did, and it was just, still get a little teary thinking about it because it's just amazing.
You're just telling me, I'm starting to feel a little teary too. I think that's certainly one of the best stories that I can imagine hearing.
And what do you do on Thanksgiving when you run out of turkey? You can't serve chicken. I mean, that's just devastating.
No, but that was wonderful.
But it came through the door.
Didn't even know you had a need. They just brought it.
Had
that's
no
wonderful.
idea. So I'd love to know who those angels were. Maybe we'll never know.
Lara, do you see more people volunteering at holidays?
We do have a significant amount of people who are calling, and I guess they are really affected by the holidays and want to give back. Lynchburg is a profoundly loving community, a very, very strong community, a lot of volunteers, a lot of people volunteer for different things around, but we are turning away volunteers for Christmas and Thanksgiving, which is, we'd love to have you on another day. We can always schedule you on another day. So just think about the holidays when you think about people who are hungry, because it's an everyday thing.
Where does the food come from that you prepare?
This is another amazing thing, and it's largely a credit to First Presbyterian and our founders. We buy almost no food. The Kroger stores, Food Lion, Lynchburg College will give us the food that's about to expire. Wonderful. And when you're serving 200 people, we can just flip it and serve it that day. And it's really amazing. There's some days we've had little steak fillets come in from Lynchburg College, and that's just such a wonderful treat for our guests. And when times are slow, summers are typically kind of slower for donations. I think that's what Lara was hinting at, that people think of helping people around the holidays, right. But this is a year-round situation, and we just had a church group that wants to give us $1,000 worth of food, and so we're going to get ground beef Wonderful. And beef stew from them, and there's always plenty, and it's I've got a little OCD. I'm a big planner, and so that was one of my big adjustments. How do you plan the menu for the week? Well, we don't. It's what comes in that day, lunch the next day, and there's always enough.
Yeah, we were talking that it's like one of those reality shows where you get you have 5 ingredients and you have no idea what they are, and our volunteers show up and roll with it in the kitchen, and we do have staff that helps organize the meals, but it works every day.
That's all right. Has the economy, it doesn't sound like it, But has the economy affected the donations you receive?
We've been very fortunate in that donations have not tapered off.
Good.
So I'm concerned about the growing number of people coming through, space. We have between 10 and 20 volunteers a day. We're all kind of on top of each other. When you've got 10 people in sort of a standard kitchen, it's a lot. So that's our biggest challenge, and something that our board of directors is looking at is sort of, if we keep adding 5,000 meals, what is that going to look like in 3 years,
Right.
and how are we going to do it? So.
It just sounds like it will happen.
Yes.
I mean, the
Just
people will
trust
come
in the
forward
Lord,
and make it happen. Now, you are a 501c3, and I know from working with our club, who's a charity-oriented club, that having that designation and going to be able to buy produce and stuff, that's a terrific help.
It is.
Absolutely, yes. We get the tax exemption, and we also, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention all of our churches that help us. There's a couple of churches who call us around the first of the month and say, what do you need this month?
Great.
And they will buy for us anything from trash bags to plastic forks to dish detergent. And we also have, if anyone watching has an event, weddings, we will take your leftovers. We would love your leftovers. And those are sort of the things that fill the gap, when sort of our regular food donors are not able to meet it all.
And thinking about an organization like yours, you think about the food and you think about the volunteers and the actual cooking, but you don't think about detergent and dish towels and plasticware and that kind of thing, and that's essential to what you do.
It is. It's the biggest portion of my materials budget is paper goods.
And you work closely with Lynchburg Grows too.
Oh, yes.
I had Derek on the show last time, and he
how
did such a
nice.
wonderful job.
Yeah, Derek does a good job.
They've been bringing in tomatoes all week,
Great.
which has been wonderful.
He said they had one greenhouse dedicated to donating, and that's wonderful. Right, you guys have brought some pictures, and Phil, if you'll put the pictures up on the screen, please, we'll get Lara and Tracey to tell us what they are.
This is a shot of our dining room. You can see 3 of the 4 tables. And I do want to mention the beautiful mural that's there. That was done by the Blackwater Art Society, led by Jen Phelps and Rusty Pickett. They spent hours, after hours when we were closed, and that ceiling's probably, what would you say, 10 feet up, 12 feet up?
Yeah.
I mean, we had scaffolding donated from Hawkins Graves and paint from James T. Davis, and it's quite beautiful. If you've never seen it, I'd encourage you to come and take a look. It's very intricate in design, and we're always sort of looking and seeing different things that they've plugged in. This is our dining room. And there to the back, we get a lot of bakery goods donated.
I see bread.
And we let our guests take the bakery and bread as they're leaving, and they can have as much as they like. That's our front door, kind of what we're known for. There's our sign with the hours, 10:50 to 12:20. And it's got Sunday through Saturday. We're there every day, on the holidays, on the weekends. Business hours from 8 to 2. Oh, and we should mention when our greatest need is for volunteers. What days of the week?
Sundays.
Sundays. Yeah, and also during the week. We have a lot of groups who sign up for Saturdays, so those get covered pretty well. But during the week, and then Sunday mornings are tough.
If you're interested in volunteering, we will find a spot for you. We will accommodate your schedule, whatever day works best.
This is our Tuesday crew. These are some of our volunteers. Let's see, Lara, you didn't get in on this one. I don't see you in there. Alice is in the front, and Melvin. They're 2 of our regulars who are just always willing to do whatever needs to get done. They're great helpers.
Herman and Carolyn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Carolyn's on the end there.
Yeah.
So Lara, most of your people are volunteers.
Most of our people are volunteers. We also have some other things that we're doing, helping fill out forms for community service, social service, veterans benefits. If our guests need some help with community services, any kind of needs that they're not making the right connections, we can get volunteers to hopefully make some connections for them where they can get some help.
Great.
A lot of our guests we had found did not even have ID. I mean, just helping them through the process of getting a birth certificate is really significant, because that, without some ID or a birth certificate, you can't work, you can't seek medical care. It's very challenging. Yeah. Oh, that is when we received a donation from the Lynchburg Morning Rotary Club. I want to make sure I'm not flipping it to the left of the screen. I think I'm telling you, right? The female on the one side is Heather Van Cleve. She is one of our newest board members, and she came to the Morning Rotary golf tournament and helped us. We had great fun on the golf cart checking in on folks.
We did.
And on the other side is Mike Lewis. He is the president of the Lynchburg Morning Rotary Club, and he also works at the Chamber of Commerce. That might be a familiar face. Mike does lots of great stuff in the community, both through the Chamber and the Morning Rotary Club, and this is one of our biggest fundraisers. They raised $7,000 for us this year, as well as $7,000 for the Boys and Girls Club. So this was a hugely successful tournament, and just so grateful for that. Now this was during our Healthy Cooking Grant. We worked with the health department to get a grant on it's specifically heart disease and stroke prevention. What we found is that many of our guests have high blood pressure,
Type 2 diabetes.
Yes, diabetes, all sorts of dangerous health indicators as well as dangerous health habits. And so it was about a 3-month grant that allowed us to purchase healthy alternatives. And it was wildly successful. We were able to do stuff like salmon, quinoa, and you'll have to help me. Lara's much healthier than I at
we're making veggie pizza. And it's whole wheat crust. We made it and rolled it out by hand, and orzo and some other really interesting
couscous was a big hit.
And I understand that the health department trained your volunteer chefs.
Well, it was actually Heather, who is our board member and also a kitchen volunteer. She is a classically trained chef.
Cool.
And so she actually headed it up. But the goal was to teach all of our volunteers how to do these healthy cooking techniques.
That's wonderful.
To use the vegetables. And when I first got at Daily Bread, the sort of go-to move was salt for seasoning. Right. And we've actually pulled all the salt out of the prep area. And instead are encouraging our volunteer chefs to use the spices, to use vegetables and fruits and olives. And it's really been quite popular. And the grant also allowed us to get Mrs. Dash and new salt and some salt alternatives on the table.
Great.
We didn't take the salt away. We still want folks to be able to eat what they like. But now those choices are out there for our guests, which is nice.
And you have been doing blood pressure screenings?
Yes, and smoking cessation counseling. In fact, Leslie Hogland with the health department came every Thursday to do smoking cessation.
That's wonderful.
And there's, I can't use names, but we had one fellow who was just so proud when he had saved up his money and bought an electric cigarette, and he just thought it was the neatest thing. And that was a direct result of the grant. So. And that's there's Heather sort of in the middle there.
There's Heather heading up Amy and Kiri and Daryl, and they're all chopping up veggies to I'm pretty sure either put in pizza or some other dish that we're making.
It was great fun.
It was great fun.
How many volunteers do you have? Do you know?
We can use between about 8 to 15 a day. Like I said, we do have folks that have legal requirements or college credit requirements. So very accommodating with those folks. They can come anytime that they need to, because I know they have work schedules and other things that they have to adhere to. But we use about 15 volunteers are needed every day.
That's
over the course of the month. It was over.
It's like 400. Well, for volunteer hours, I think we're using between 1,500 to 1,800 volunteer hours a month.
hard as it is to believe we only have about 3 more minutes, which makes me sad because I had so many more questions that I wanted to ask you. But you did win a grant from Walmart, and you were the only facility in the state of Virginia that got that grant.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Walmart did a 12 Days of Giving campaign right around Christmas, and day one was hunger. And we were chosen in Virginia. One of our volunteers, Angela Payne Cox, nominated us, and before Christmas we had a check for $5,000, which was amazing.
And you also do fundraisers.
Oh, yes.
I don't really have time to get into what they are, but I think that it's great that you're out there doing these fundraisers and that people are making these donations to you.
Absolutely.
Like empty bowls. Tell me about that
is
real
so
quick.
Neat. It's organized by the Academy of Fine Arts. It's held in March, and it's actually a national day called Empty Bowls, where potters in the community made handmade, beautiful bowls. And for empty bowls, it was $15. You got your bowl and soup donated by area restaurants and bread from Montana Plains, and it was delightful. And you got to keep your bowl. And we raised over $5,000 this year. So that was the Kroger Westover Dairy Golf Tournament, the Rotary Club Golf Tournament, and Empty Bowls are our three big things.
Well, I'm amazed at what you do, and I think you all do such a wonderful job. Very quickly, if you could sum up what working at Daily Bread means to you, what would you say? Both of you.
Ooh, that's hard to do quick.
It's certainly the best job I ever had, just getting the interpersonal relationships and learning how to we've had some school-age children, and I told them, you helped 150 people a day. You're 10 years old, you helped 150 people in one day.
That's great.
It's a great thing. It's a great feeling. Who wouldn't want to do that?
I'm very thankful every day. I mean, this position really is a gift, to get to do this work and to be able to make an average living, perhaps, possibly.
But to make such a difference in the community.
There is no more rewarding job. It's been a really wonderful thing.
Well, I admire you both for what you do, and I thank you so much for coming on the show.
And
maybe we can get you back, and I can ask you the rest of these questions.
We'd love to.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Linda.
I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show and learning more about Lynchburg Daily Bread. My next show will feature green building in the Lynchburg area. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.